This comment was left a couple of months ago, but I only just saw it, and it was left on a video in which I discuss how Asian Americans can participate in both racial discrimination, which is interpersonal bigotry, as well as racism, which is contributing to systemic racism that oppresses Black, Brown, Indigenous, and other people of color. And this ability to contribute to systemic racism that oppresses Black people is important in the ongoing discussion of why Asian American owned businesses operating in Black communities are problematic. The most well known way that Asian Americans can contribute to the oppression of Black people is through the model minority myth, which states that Asians can be experiencing things like oppression and poverty, but they're quiet, hardworking, and they don't protest. And because they have strong family values that emphasize things like education and hard work, they are able to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and go from poverty to prosperity, often in one generation, proving that the American dream is true. The negative implication oppresses Black people because it says that if other oppressed groups are not able to achieve the same result, the problem is not systemic within the United States. The problem has to be cultural. What's important to remember is that the model minority myth is exactly that. It is a myth. It involves perpetuating stereotypes and manipulating data to create a misleading picture. And it also oppresses Asian Americans who don't fit the model, which tends to apply narrowly to East Asians who are affluent and often who have paler skin. An issue right now is that there are Asian Americans who are actively contributing to spreading misinformation about anti-Asian violence and who the perpetrators are. And this is oppressing Black people by putting the blame on them, which leads to more policing of Black people. And it's an unfortunate reality that the United States has a history of weaponizing the positionality of Asian Americans to oppress Black people. And this goes all the way back to the 1800s when post-emancipation plantation owners thought that they would recruit Chinese laborers to create competition between Chinese laborers and Black laborers, and hoping that the Chinese laborers would undercut the Black laborers. This competition really didn't come to fruition because Chinese laborers and Black laborers did not fall for the divide and conquer. They demanded the same wages, and when the Chinese laborers weren't given that, they left. And unfortunately, I think what the United States learned after that is to make sure that that type of solidarity and mutual respect never happened again. So starting in the 1950s, we see the manufacturing of the model minority myth. In 1964, the Civil Rights Act passed, and then in 1965, the United States opens the door to Asian immigration, which again puts Asian Americans in the way of opportunities that should have gone to Black people. And with respect to Indigenous people, I basically feel that anybody who is not advocating for Native sovereignty and for treaty rights to be respected is oppressing Indigenous people.